I'm going to talk about in this video why I'm starting a YouTube channel and what this YouTube channel is for. Well, I'm a mom, and I'm neurodivergent, and so are my children, and I've always been really driven towards personal growth before I had children. I've always dealt with a lot of depression and anxiety and have felt really unhappy in my life. There's been many periods in my life where I didn't want to be alive anymore. I struggled with alcohol and substance use, and I was just always feeling really, I kind of like fluctuated from always feeling really terrible about life and then having moments that were just profoundly beautiful, and but I always felt like I was just kind of blowing in the wind, right? Like, I didn't feel like I had a lot of control or agency in my life. And I think it's a pretty common story. But then I decided to have kids. And I decided to have kids because I knew that I had a lot of love or something. And also it just seemed like what I would do. And then I had kids, and I was really just felt like I was thrown into the deep end. And it's been wonderful. And it's also been really challenging, but like my children have given me the motivation and the drive and the inspiration to learn how to be happy and to like feel happy and to feel a sense of belonging in this world that I've always struggled to feel. And like a sense of safety that I've never had, but somehow knew like existed. And so since having children, after my first was born, I was planning on becoming a therapist and started school for that, graduate school. And then the pandemic happened and things changed and my school closed. And I tried another school and that didn't really work out. And then I found a consciousness and transformative studies program, and that really just opened the door to consciousness studies. And I felt very much like, oh, this is what I've been looking for, right? Like, it's not just personal growth that I'm after, but really like evolving and not necessarily transcending anything, but learning how to be a better human. I guess like just how to get as much as I can from this time and experience I have on Earth. And also like I have these children, right, that I get to watch their consciousness and their development unfold. and get to learn how, like, the world and their environment and their upbringing impacts them. And there are just so many different options and things to do and try, and so much I get to learn about myself through them and watching them as well, and being sort of like the identity shifts that come from becoming a parent. And yeah, like, there has to be other parents out there who are also finding themselves on this similar adventure where having children has provided a unique opportunity to really find I don't like the levels of consciousness and the idea that there's higher levels of consciousness, but that it's a development thing, not a superiority thing, right? Like, it's still it's a hierarchy, and that it's just learning. It's learning and integrating that knowledge. So that's what this channel is about, and it's just sharing my experience, because in the 7 years that I've been a parent, I am not the same person. And I think, most parents, like, 7 years of parenthood will absolutely change anyone. But for me, like, a lot of the growth has been really intentional, and there's a lot of things that I've learned and a lot of things that I've tried that I think could be really useful to other parents. But mostly this is a space where I experience life intensely, and there's so much going on, and I rarely find people in my local sphere that I feel comfortable, like, expressing all of that with. And also, like, I'm neurodivergent and have always been really heavily masked in my life, and I'm feeling I'm at a place now where I'm trying to learn how to not necessarily be unmasked, because I think it's not just like a neurodivergent thing. The difference between, like, masking as being neurodivergent is that it's usually rooted in nervous system regulation. That's my own take on it. But whereas other people who maybe don't feel so unsafe, like, they're, like, everybody has, like, a different kind of persona, right? Or mask that they wear in different settings, different contexts, but because of social rules. Whereas for me, like, my masking is about it's about safety, or I don't know. But anyway, the point is that, like, I need a space where I can show up mostly unmasked. I'm still gonna, like, totally, I can't help it. Like, I think the only time that I'm unmasked is when I'm talking to myself. And this is pretty close to that. And I think, like, with practice, it'll become more of that. And it's just really important for me to sort of like capture that and practice that so I can take it out into the world, because I'm like nearing the end of my 30s, and my kids they're still young. They're very young. They're under 10. But the years are starting to go by faster. And I really want to be able to enjoy as much of it as possible and be as present as possible with it, to be able to enjoy it and expand my capacity for joy and pleasure and presence. And I feel like I've figured out how to do that. And so I want to share it naturally. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I went from being like suicidal and an addict it feels like it was a lifetime ago at this point. But considering that like some people don't even get sober or find healing or get into recovery or something until my age, or like there's of course people who don't make it, it feels pretty amazing that, oh, and there's a deer. It feels pretty amazing to be at this place in my life and with my kids. I really wished that I had the ability to co-regulate and provide like all the great attachment stuff and like be a really grounded, secure base for my daughter when she was first born. But I didn't have the capacity then. But I have it now, and it's always like it keeps growing, and I'm just really grateful that this deer is like so close. It looks like a really young buck. So naturally I'm distracted by it. Yeah, I'm looking for community. I'm trying to build it in my local space, and it's slow going, and that's okay. But I imagine that it'll be a lot easier for me to find it here, maybe. Yeah. So much has changed in the last year, and it kind of started with a microdosing. I started that when my oldest was born, and then there was doing neurofeedback at a local place that really changed things too, and like for my nervous system support. And then some other really random stuff, like trying out contact improv dance, which has really done amazing things for my nervous system and healing, and is so random. Like, I'm not a dancer, but in contact improv is is different anyway. It's magical. And like dream work, and I did a 2-year psychoanalysis. That was pretty wild. And then I found inner relationship focusing, and that's really been like the one of those things where it was like, oh, this is it, right? Which is different for everybody. But for me, and as a neurodivergent person, or like just, having experienced trauma and lots of chronic stress and stuff, my connection to my sense for my internal world and my body, my interoception, is really really wacky. Like I'm usually focused on my external experience, especially when I'm around other people or out in the world. Like I'm very externally focused, and this modality of inner relationship focusing is a way of like really coming back into my body, but through a very sort of cognitive, sort of conversational style. And it's like changed my life. So I'm doing a certificate training program with that. That's starting next month, that I'm very excited about, because then it'll make it just that much easier for me to share it with whoever is interested. But it's completely changed my parenting and how I can be present with my children, and how I can be present with my partner and myself, and try new things. And like my world has just opened up so wide, and I didn't even realize how small it was. Like it was so small, but it felt so overwhelming. And now, like, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I can sense that there's still so much room to grow. And it makes me really excited. But yeah, so it just feels like and I ended up letting go of becoming a psychotherapist, which I'm really glad about, because I'm not interested in jumping through bureaucratic hoops, especially considering like where society, I don't know where society is going, and I'm not gonna pretend that I do, but clearly it's shifting. And so I went the coaching route, and yeah, I just feel really